Since March, all kinds of goods going to and from China are suddenly kind of in a state of suspended animation due to the simmering trade war between the two nations. So specifically, we told you last week the Chinese are now slapping a massive penalty on purchases of a popular gluten-free grain shipped from the U.S. We've been tracking on a big armada of U.S. ships carrying tons of sorghum, that's the gluten-free grain, bound for China. Monday, we noticed that one of the ships, called the RB, it's the one to the right there, the RB Eden, laden down with 70,000 tons of sorghum in the Indian Ocean, was heading east-northeast to China. Well, it suddenly stopped dead in the water, and after hanging out on the high seas at this hour, the RB Eden has made a 180 away from China, never made its destination there. Ships and producers are stuck in sort of a land of confusion. So let's bring in NYU Stern School of Business professor Rob Salomon. He advises companies around the world on how to navigate through tariff wars, and he's also the author of Global Vision, How Companies Can Overcome the Pitfalls of Globalization. Last week, we had the Kansas governor, of course, a lot of sorghum, that gluten-free grain is grown in Kansas. He said his traders of the sorghum, but also his farmers, were in an absolute panic because they were very nervous that now precisely what we see with that ship out on the high seas was going to happen. They're being turned away because the people in China don't want to pay that huge tariff or penalty, as China's calling it.
Yeah, and what China has done is it's starting to attack the United States where it hurts. This is the first shot across the bow. They are attacking agricultural products, and we ship a lot of agricultural products to China. So we announced last month that the Trump administration said it would put tariffs on about $60 billion of goods, of Chinese goods. This is China's response.
Well, the response for sorghum may be one thing, but you're looking and you advise a lot of companies, and perhaps they have publicly traded stocks that our viewers own or want to own maybe or want to sell, on how to deal with a very unsure landscape at the moment. I threw out land of confusion, you know, from the Genesis song, but I just think to myself, how do they deal with this?
Right. When I counsel companies, the things that we look at are cultural risk, political risk, and economic risk. Those are the things that drive the additional costs that companies face when they want to participate in global markets. And over the past few years, what we've observed is an uptick in those risks that companies face.
Give us an example of companies here in the U.S. that are doing it well and have done it well throughout the years.
So now we're going to take a step away from trade, and we're going to talk about investment and just global expansion in general. If I think about companies that have done a good job expanding globally, I think, for example, of a company like Henry Schein or a company like IKEA. In the case of IKEA, they started expanding in the late 1950s, early 1960s to companies that were close culturally, politically, and economically to Sweden. And then from there, they started expanding out. Where companies make mistakes are in cases like Uber, where they take huge jumps to countries like China that are so culturally, politically, and economically different than the United States, they present a tremendous amount of risk.
You need people on the ground. Henry Schein is global. They, of course, do medical products and pet products, which I believe they're going to spin off. But,
that's right.
You know, they do understand the culture of a lot of countries. But what if the president simply slaps tariffs and then the Chinese are doing the same thing?
Well, that's the problem that we're running into right now, is that the executives who I speak with tell me that they're unsure. There's a lot of uncertainty. And so they don't know how and where to invest. They're waiting to see how things play out.
Christine Lagarde of the IMF said this last week about that uncertainty that she's hearing from businesses. Hear what she said, and then I'll have you react.
What matters is the confidence level. This is impossible to model. When a big U.S. company says, I don't know where to invest. When the supply chain that brings Canada, the U.S. and Mexico is up in the air, companies don't invest. That we cannot measure.
She's talking about NAFTA, but do you get the sense that businesses whom you advise are simply stalling till this can be worked out?
Yeah. So what they're waiting for is certainty. What you see is executives...
Well, good luck with that.
I know, right? Executives don't like uncertainty. Even though tariffs are not what we want and trade wars don't benefit anybody, once they exist, managers know how to deal with them and they know how to navigate around them. But until we have certainty as to what the landscape will look like, what the playing field will be tomorrow, managers have to sit and wait.
Quick question, quick answer. Will Germany, the EU, France be exempt from the steel tariffs May 1st? The decision's supposed to be made.
It doesn't look like they will receive an extension on the exemption. And
Wow.
They will, if those tariffs go into effect after May 1st, look for some sort of retaliation from Europe.